Hello, everyone. Thanks to Greg for his introduction. I'm Gary. I'm an industrial designer here at IDEO Shanghai office. Today, I'm going to share with you a story about something that I did not design, but something that has profoundly shaped me in my career and helped me understand what creativity can really do for someone's life. This is my story behind the bar. It was 2013 in Taiwan. As a Taiwan national, I was required to serve military service as my civic responsibility. Why did I choose to serve in prison? No, I didn't choose. I have no option at all. The military service system was based on the level of your degree, not your working experience, nor the university you went to. Say, okay, you have PhD. You can choose first at whatever you like. And then, if you have the master degree, you can choose second. The leftover is for people who just graduated from college or people who only graduated from high school, even though I have double bachelor degrees. It didn't count in the system. So I didn't have any choice but ended up serving in the prison. I was 26 when I was sent to the most beautiful prison in the eastern part of Taiwan, Hualien. This is a prison without bar, and all prisoners live in the small red houses near the main training building. So they live here. They live here. This is a training building for us. It has a very beautiful scenery. Fresh air, it was quiet, green, peaceful, and I felt as if I had come here for a vacation. I felt quite refreshed when I arrived, to be honest. I told myself that I was ready to get a professional guard training program. This was the first time I saw criminals in real life. In prison, we didn't call them criminals or prisoners. Instead, we called them 同学, which means classmates. In this adult prison, classmates work in the big farm surrounded by the mountains of Hualien. The daily routine include labor-intensive activities like farming, the floor design, and garden design. They can also take sculpture class. So basically, it's more like a training center, not like the prison that we're typically thinking of. This place was also a sightseeing spot, and I feel like I was a tourist at that time. I was trained here for 2 weeks. The training was very comprehensive, such as self-defense techniques, policies, laws, human rights, and fundamental knowledge about how to guard and what life in the prison would be like. And then we had an exam on the last day before the training session was done. The higher score you get, the more choices of prison you can choose to work for. That's true. I ranked 50 out of 350, which was okay, and I still have few good options. When it was my turn to choose, I had two good options. One was a woman prison. You know that. Another one was a male juvenile prison. So I chose the juvenile prison because it sounded more like a school. Its Chinese name was 少年抚育院, which meant reform school. And my gut feeling told me that working in the school cannot be too bad, right? So one fine September day, the prison bus transported me to the juvenile prison, Taoyuan Reform School. It was an 8-hour bumpy ride from Hualien. I didn't remember the beautiful coastal scenery and mountain views during the trip, I didn't know how many times I fell asleep and was awakened by my nervousness. All I could feel was total blankness, and I didn't want to talk to anyone. And then I saw the prison front gate. Somehow, I became calm and feel like I was back to school again. I remembered that it was a sunny day. Everything seemed very peaceful and normal. They put their bed sheets outside to dry in the sun. As you can see, everything was so casual, so normal. It was like a campus, right? But somehow I was afraid to look into anyone's eyes. Somehow I didn't want anything related to the prison that come into my life. I rejected it, and I didn't want to care at all. All classmates' daily routine was very similar to that at normal junior high school. They must take classes, but mostly they were PE class, and Confucian class, 孔子课, or Bible class. They also need to clean the school. So from my memory, their daily calendar was like this. They get out of the bed at 5:30 in the morning, 15 minutes for each meal, breakfast, lunch, or dinner, 10 minutes to do the cleaning right after meal, 13 minutes to take a nap, 5 minutes to take shower and wash their clothes. They get into bed at 9 p.m. But this was not a kind of normal kind of school we think about. This was school's opening day. New classmates were transferred from other prisons. The guards need to check all their items and their body search for sure. And awaiting the classmates was a special courtesy class. For example, how they talk to guard. They need to crouch and they report to the guard. Let me show you how. 报告! 报告! How they move. 2 hands held their ankles and did the frog leaping movement. So this is what he likes. 报告! They can never be at the same eye level as the guard. They must always be subservient to the guard. So our relationship is one of kings and slaves. Almost all classmates had children, even though they are younger than me. They may look young, but they all had old souls. And they definitely had more social experience than I did. There was a certain period of time that my task was to document their profile from paper format to digital data. I had access to not just read their personal profile, what type of crime they had committed, but also family background, including all personal letters and telephone conversation records, etc. It was not a surprise to me that most of them came from broken family. But what made my heart broke was that their grandparents was their closest family members, because most of their parents were in the prison in different locations. I saw many mixed 60s, 70s elderly people came to visit them. They brought lots of food and still firmly believed that their grandson was innocent. But I was not there to judge. Because I soon found out that I was also in some kind of prison myself. It was a prison without invisible bars. Let me tell you how. This was my bed, my uniform, my hat, my whistles, my tie, my pen, my badges, my belt, and my transparent bag. Why transparent bag? Because as a guard, you cannot bring your personal belongings like book or phones. Whatever you bring in, it must be open to inspection. There is no privacy here. And this was our daily duty schedule. Team A and Team B took shifts. In prison, there was no time off, no day off, no weekend off, no holiday. I had always to be on duty. So this is my name. I'm here, I'm here, I'm here. So we kind of take shifts. And this is what I did while on duty. I opened the gate, I closed the gate. I checked the vehicles and I let them pass. I checked every visitor's identity and did the body search and I let them pass. I counted the number of pieces of bread, 2 pieces by 2 pieces, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, like that, till 300 pieces per day. I pushed the food trolley 15 times per day to distribute the instant noodles, the cookies, and all the snacks that prisoners' family brought for them. I checked the food items one by one. I chopped, all food items should be chopped into small pieces. There should be no powder, no fried food, no fruit that can ferment it like grapes. I also deliver official documents like postal boy. I patrolled day and night till my feet hurt. In order to protect the prison guards, we didn't have name tags, only numbers. Prison guard under substitute military service like me actually had no identity. I was just a number. Hello, this is C102-126-195 speaking. May I help you? Like the prisoners, we also wear a uniform. Among the prison guards, we also had the kings and slaves relationship. The kings were what I called super guard. In prison, everyone must listen to the super guards and serve them like they were kings. They were very powerful. They control everything in prison. They allocated resources. They were the people who had established their kingdom. They were the people who enjoyed commanding others. They were the people who forgot what trust means in human terms. They were the people who actually wanted to stay imprisoned in their days off. They can never leave the prison because they would not be able to live in the real world. In the real world, they would not have slaves to serve them. In order to survive, I tried to be useful in prison. Doing the daily task properly was the fundamental part. How can I impress the super guard was the most important things to me. So I did all kinds of events and activities. I participated in prison essay competition to share my sentiments about how to be a guard there. I volunteered to design a solitary confinement space layout. I designed the website for the prison. Every night, when it was my turn to guard 120 classmates, that means we were actually locked in the same room all night. I would just stand there and watch them. I did nothing. But in order to impress Super Guard, I even taught classmates Computer Science 101, like a basic coding concept, and taught them how to manage the team via app design. I designed card every time after prison guard gathering event, like KTV, like festival celebrations. I also wrote acoustic, which means 藏头诗 in Chinese. For example, if you read the first characters in each sentence downwards, a different meaning comes out. See the blue characters here. 帅气的王德仁班长 in Chinese, which means, oh my gosh, you are awesome, super guard, Mr. Wang. When I look back at all these works, 2 things that surprised me. First is that I come to realize at that time all my work were in black and white. There was no joy, and I must have felt depressed, and my heart was very heavy. You probably noticed that all the cards I made, I put a huge signature on it. Right? It's pretty huge. Because this is the only chance and medium that let Superguard remember me. Otherwise, I would be just a number for him. I need to be remembered by Superguard. I need to be promoted so that I can have an advanced schedule, which means I can have set time for bed, for rest, and had weekends off. After 3 months, I finally got promoted and became a prison guard leader and had a weekends off. But the challenge did not end. This was the place that a classmate took class in the morning. Since I wanted to make use of my time, I applied to use the space at night to study. It was not an easy process, but finally confirmed by the warden. I was grateful to have a room to sit for 3 hours per night. On the very first day, about 10 people came to use the space to study. A week later, I was the only one left and still using the space. All Superguard didn't think I can persist for more than a week. They were waiting for a joke and ready to make fun of me. I took online course from Coursera. I learned how to write Java code. I took my first job interview in the room via Skype. And I kept this habit every single day till the end of my military service. Just before I finished my military service, 2 Superguard came to me and gave me a card. The card said, "Thank you, Gary, for your proactiveness, diligence, and encouragement. You let us reflect and remind us of the courage we all have in us, and we could use it to pursue our dreams. You are like a lighthouse, giving people who have lost faith a distance, a direction. Let us still firmly believe that if people work hard, they can find their way out." I graduated, but that was not important. For me, the graduation certificate was a small card that I received from the 2 Superguard. A month later, both of them left the prison service and went to study. At that moment, I realized most of the Superguards were actually like classmates in the prison. I meant their minds were kept in the prison. It was a prison without bars. I feel so happy to be able to change others' mindset, and in this way, I perhaps help free them from the invisible bars. We still keep in touch. Now I look back, this was part of my life journey, and I was actually so privileged that my first job was Superguard, as a prison guard, not Superguard, with a super low salary. I was paid 1 RMB per hour. I learned a lesson in life that we can all become the prisoner of our own mind. I once served in the prison without bars, actual bars, but I felt imprisoned. It was only when I managed to free my mind that I was able to free myself and others. I hope I could keep this lesson for the rest of my life and use my creativity to free myself and do the same for others. Thank you.